Hey, my name's Peter Reid, I'm 27 years old and I'm from the southwest suburbs of Sydney. By trade I'm an electrical fitter and I've been working in the electrical switchboard manufacturing industry for about 6 years now. I started an apprenticeship in 2011 and completed my apprenticeship and a Certificate 3 in industrial switchgear and control gear in 2014. The company I work for, we specialise in controls and automation. We do stuff for heavy industry and power generation mainly, and a bit of mining as well. We build switchboards that control industrial processes, and also battery energy storage systems for solar power and other things. I chose to study the diploma for a number of reasons. The first thing being I wanted to see if I could manage working full-time and studying part-time. So I'd never tried that before. I've only ever studied full-time in the past and I wasn't working. So I thought that this was a good place to start. I thought it'd also be good to start small because I've never studied by correspondence before. I've only ever experienced like face-to-face learning in the classroom, so something new. I didn't want to jump straight into a bachelor's degree, and I realised that it's not for me, so I thought something smaller would be a good place to start. So I wanted to go into engineering because the industry I work in at the moment is rapidly changing. A lot of the manufacturing is now going overseas. It's now going to places like India and China because they can do the same work for a lot cheaper. Because of this, I find that the industry is now moving away from manufacturing and more into the design and development, and I want to get into that part of it rather than being stuck in manufacturing. Also believe that now that the retirement age is 70, I don't see myself working to 70 years old and it's such a full-on physical job, because for another 43 years I just don't think I can keep it up, so I'd rather move into something a bit more sustainable and also further my skills. Another reason why I'm doing the foundation diploma, I feel that my mathematics aren't really up to scratch at the moment to jump straight into the engineering side of things. I only did general mathematics when I went to school, probably because I didn't really apply myself enough to go for the 2-unit or extension maths. So it'd be good to do a course where I can learn the mathematics needed for engineering. I did do a little bit of the mathematics side of it in my apprenticeship at TAFE, but a lot of that's very basic, so I feel this is like the natural progression. My use of digital media at home, I use it for a lot of things. I use it for news, communication, staying up to date with social media, speaking to people on the phone, or FaceTime, Skype. I use digital media for like cooking. Cooking is a favourite pastime of mine, and I use most of the recipes I use are online rather than using cookbooks, so my cooking is pretty digitalised. I also use at home. I use a lot of recording software for music because I play guitar and bass, and I've played in a couple of bands, so I have used recording software such as Cubase to record demo tracks and songs and things like that. I use digital media at work for anything from placing orders to Excel and Word documents, programming programmable logic controllers and smart relays, wire numbers, cable cutting machines. It's a big transition period at the moment where a lot of old technology or stuff done by hand is now getting digitalized, so it's an interesting time to be in this be in the electrical field, as we see a lot more things going digital, and even a lot of our switchboards where it's going from, a lot of it was mechanically controlled and using a lot of relays and other mechanical components, going more digital now, where they now use smart relays where one unit can do the job of hundreds of other mechanical ones, but in one unit, and it's programmed digitally. In a typical day, my use of digital technology will include checking on emails, going on social media, and a bit of gaming sometimes on PlayStation, and just your typical home sort of things. At work, It'll include sending emails, using programs like Word, Excel, going online and processing orders, placing orders for switchgear and other equipment for work. Also use programs to make labels and wire numbers for the wiring in our switchboards, and can also include a bit of AutoCAD work, drawing up switchboards and wiring diagrams. I believe that being a digital citizen in 2017 is something that's really important, as our world around us keeps evolving to be more and more digital as we go from like the old paper and analog mediums to a more digital world. If we aren't all digital citizens in this area, we will get left behind. The most pressing question I'd have to ask the team would be, where do they see education going in the next 10 to 15 years as we go through this like digital revolution? Do they think that education will make a move to more digital platforms and stuff like this course by correspondence? Like, will we actually lose classroom learning? Will it be all online? And we won't have our face-to-face with teachers anymore. It will be more video-based stuff. Just what they think about that, if it will change and how long it will take to change, and their thoughts if it will be a positive change or something negative. The story I've been following for Activity 14 is Section 44 of the Constitution. That's led to Scott Ludlam, Larissa Waters and Matt Canavan standing down because of dual citizenship. I followed this because I'm rather interested in politics, and it's been an issue that's been all over the media for the past 3 weeks, and been actually interesting following the progression of how the story's changed. First, a lot of people having a go at Scott Ludlam and Larissa Waters for not realising that they were dual citizens, and then with Matt Canavan standing down, even though he didn't realise he was a citizen because his mum made him a citizen without him knowing. And now the story going to Malcolm Roberts, and whether he is a dual citizen, and him refusing to prove that whether he's still a dual citizen or not, and he's saying that he's only a citizen of Australia because that's what he believes. And now the doubt going to other senators and people in Parliament, with some of the 26 different politicians being born overseas, and whether they have citizenship of another country as well as Australia. From this activity, I learnt that the story changes a lot with different types of media, like different media platforms convey the story differently. So TV often follows a bit more in-depth than radio. I listen to a lot of radio at work, which is a commercial radio station, and they just briefly say like the main headline, and it's not a lot to go off, and sometimes it's misinterpreting the story. So it's like when you think that you know what's going on, but it's only the headline, so you don't know what's actually going on. So sometimes you have to like delve a bit deeper and go into other formats like TV and print, where it goes a bit deeper. I also found that some of the commercial stations are actually a bit more biased towards some of the major parties, where when the first part of the story started developing, they were having like a bit of a go at the Greens for not realising it was a bit of fun, having a laugh. But now it's got more serious, seeing that now major parties are now involved. I also learnt that there's a lot more opinion-based writing online these days compared to solid fact-based articles. A lot of the websites like news.com.au, a lot of the newspapers, a lot of their articles, you're led to believe that they are facts-based, but when you delve deeper, click on the link, it's often just an opinion article. Also learnt a lot about how the media shapes mainstream opinion. I'm sure if you asked a regular person a couple of months ago about how they felt about dual citizenship in a parliament, the majority of people wouldn't have cared. But now with so much media coverage and media outlets saying how important it is, and a lot of more information about the Constitution, people are now more interested and actually seem to care. Now everyone will have an opinion on the topic, so it changes a lot. The most challenging part of this assignment I found was the video. This signpost video is something I've never done before. I've never really talked to a camera. I like recording videos. I've done a lot of stuff before with that, making YouTube videos and things like that. But yeah, I'm someone who's more comfortable behind the camera rather than being in front of it. I tend to struggle with public speaking as well, something I get really nervous about, so I found this rather challenging to actually get up and have the guts to talk straight to the camera. So I thought I'd challenge myself by actually recording myself instead of doing a PowerPoint presentation. So I enjoy a challenge, but I found this the hardest part. I also found it challenging putting a lot of my thoughts into words and being able to speak about it. So normally when I come up with ideas, it's more writing them down as they come to me rather than speaking it out. Speaking to someone, I'm not really someone who has a real big voice when it comes to voicing opinion, unless it's online where I can kind of hide behind like being anonymous rather than seeing my face, and so I get a bit nervous. So yeah, I found this really challenging.